Hey y'all, it's Thomas with Chrono24 in New York, and today we're talking about, or rather not talking about, the ROLEX Submariner. The Submariner is one of the most storied watches of all time, diving watches or not. It has deep roots in various militaries as well as the James Bond franchise and many other legendary actors, chefs, CEOs, you name it. Relatively speaking, a Submariner is one of the better deals in terms of secondary market Rolex watches, meaning prices on sites like Chrono24 are not too high above what they would be from a Rolex boutique. That said, you'll still need to hand over roughly $14,000 for a new model on the secondary market. So let's take a look at some viable Submariner alternatives that you may want to consider. First up are the ever popular Seiko divers. With Seiko, you have the option of spending a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s, and you're gonna get a great watch no matter what. Whether you get the Turtle, the Tuna, the Sumo, the Samurai, or any other model on offer, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be reliable, with great lume and an in-house automatic movement. Many watch lovers buy a Seiko as their first mechanical piece, and many keep buying them even after years of serious collecting. So they're great watches whether it's your first or it's your 14th. I'm particularly fond of the SBP413J1, which is modeled after the famed 62 MAS from the 1960s. It's got a sleek case profile and placid dial design, which aligns well with the aesthetic of the Submariner for about 1/10 of the price. Like many other Rolex watches, the Submariner has gotten more luxurious over time. What started out as a tried and true tool watch for professionals only, now also comes in a variety of precious metals like yellow gold, white gold, and two-tone gold and steel. So if you're looking for something that maintains that raw toughness of the early Submariner models, consider the Tudor Blancpain 58 or the Tudor Pelagos. We could also mention the 41mm Blancpain line, but the BB58 and the Pelagos keep coming up as the real fan favorites from Rolex's sister brand. If you want a purely functional machine, choose the 42mm Pelagos with its titanium case and its whopping 500 meters of water resistance. On the other hand, if you're looking for something that can work in the office and the ocean, choose the 39mm Blancpain 58. Now, I particularly like the black and gold colorway as it reminds me of the very handsome James Bond Submariner, reference number 6538. So whether you're going for form or function, Tudor has you covered. Speaking of slightly dressier options, might I recommend the Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris. With prices on Chrono24 starting around $6K, it's not exactly an entry-level watch, but it is one of the more affordable watches you'll find from JLC. I'm a particular fan of the 41mm Polaris Automatic, although buyers also have the choice of 42mm models like the Polaris Date, Memovox, and Chronograph versions. The No Date Automatic features an inner rotating bezel for a sleeker profile and measures only 11.2mm in thickness. So you get a nice daily diver without having the bulk of some competitors. I also really like the details here, like the applied hour markers, the various textures at play on the dial and how they catch the light, and the fact that you get an in-house movement with a sapphire case back. Plus, it's modeled after JLC's Polaris watches from the 1960s, so you get a similar design heritage to that of the Rolex Submariner. We couldn't talk about Rolex Submariner alternatives without mentioning the sub's original competitor, the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. The 50 Fathoms has been used by the French Navy, the German Navy, the US Navy, and many professional divers of all nationalities. The watch debuted in 1953, which is the same year as the Rolex Submariner. I should mention this is not an inexpensive alternative, as many 50 Fathoms models come with 5-figure price tags. So this is an option to consider if you can afford a Submariner, but would prefer a watch that you don't see every day. The vintage models are some of the most attractive tool watches ever made in my opinion. The Hodinkee limited edition from 2020 is also a gorgeous rendition if you can get your hands on one. The 50 Fathoms is great because you can find a GMT, a chronograph, and an annual calendar moon phase versions. So you get a wide range between battle-ready combat divers and sophisticated examples of Swiss watchmaking. In terms of value for the money, Omega is one of the leaders in the industry. Take, for example, the Seamaster 300. Here you have a range of styles and sizes even within their Heritage series. There's even a James Bond edition and versions with stone dials like malachite and lapis lazuli. I'll admit the Fotino on a lot of these models is a little heavy-handed, but you get a capable diving watch with 300 meters of water resistance, and the design is undeniably attractive with those dagger hour markers to the signature broad arrow hand and either a lollipop or arrow seconds hand. Omega's flat link bracelet is a nice vintage touch that's also quite comfortable on the wrist. If you'd like to learn more about the 39mm 1957 Trilogy Edition, we recorded a whole previous review of that on our channel. Overall, these watches offer classic dive watch heritage with fantastic mid-century design and in-house movements for well under $10,000. And hint, hint, you can even find new options on Chrono24 for less than you would at retail. That's a quick look at a handful of Submariner alternatives. Let me know in the comments below what other ones buyers might want to consider. I'm Thomas with Chrono24 in New York. Stay tuned for more videos on our channel, and as always, enjoy your watches.